Black Grills.
Hey,
Five,
hey
four, three,
y'all.
two, one. Cadillac Grills.
Hey y'all. It is Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and I am here with.
Shanae, hi. AKA Recruiter Cousin. How you doing? Hallelujah.
Yeah, she goes
Hallelujah.
by the recruiter cousin, y'all. So this is the episode that we have been waiting for, and we are going to dive right in. Make sure that you are following the recruiter cousin on Instagram and TikTok. Do you have any other social medias, or is it
Yeah,
just Instagram and TikTok?
YouTube is the same as Recruiter Cousin, and then on LinkedIn is my first and last name, Chenae. Last name is Erkerd, Erkerd. My mom gave me a name that can't nobody say or spell. My husband gave me a name can't nobody say or spell. Here we are.
Well, you are lucky. Well, we want to welcome you to the Millennial Management Podcast.
Thank you for
We
having me.
had lots and lots of questions about what to do in this job market. A lot of people are really
Yeah.
struggling with applying and also locating roles that fit their lifestyle. Maybe it's the work-life balance, or maybe it's just the overall salary component that is a challenge for a lot of applicants. And
Mm-hmm.
so before we get started with that, I want to go into some of the questions that I have for you. So
Sure.
real swiftly, just kind of give us a background on Shanae.
Yeah, so first, I did not seek out recruiting. So let me start there. Recruiting came to me. So I originally wanted to be an attorney. I
Yeah.
wanted to practice. I wanted some experience in criminal defense and criminal prosecution, and then I wanted to do some juvenile justice and tort law, so personal injury. And I did not pass the North Carolina bar. I took it 3 times, didn't pass it, wasn't giving North Carolina any more of my money. And I decided, like, what exactly do you do with a law degree where you're not practicing law?
Right.
And so I went into HR. And so I started as a temp, ironically, in Duke's Law School in the law clinic as a temp. And then I switched. My second assignment was I switched over into Duke Talent Identification Program, which is Duke Tip for short.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I met my now mentor, Danita. Danita was like, "You want to learn how to be a recruiter?" I was like, "Yep, I don't have nothing else to do," because she was the recruitment manager. So she taught me how to be a recruiter, and here we are. So I started recruiting in higher education. I moved over to healthcare, and now I'm in big tech.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. So you
Mhm.
said that in big tech, what exactly are you doing in big tech? Do you like it
Yeah,
also?
so I do. So I started out recruiting for software engineers, program and
Mhm.
product managers, and cybersecurity professionals. Now I mainly focus on program and product managers in the security side.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I like
Hmm.
this. I love hearing Black women in corporate now. That is beautiful. Now, has that been challenging for you? Has it been a challenging transition to go from like working at Duke to corporations?
Um, I don't know. I wouldn't say a challenge. I would say it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say a challenge, and I would say culture shock because Duke was also corporate in its own way,
Hmm.
because Duke is considered big health.
Yeah.
So, and then I was on the university side of Duke, which is still considered like Duke is known for basketball and
Hmm.
football and all of that. And so I wouldn't say it was a challenge. It was just more of I started to work with people of all different backgrounds, like
Yeah.
more, because there's so many more people who work for the company I work for. So I would say it was more of a culture shock and understanding people's backgrounds and kind of how they think and all of that was something I needed to adapt to.
Okay. Okay. Now, what's your favorite part about recruiting? What is something that you really love about it?
Making an offer, that, like, hands down, like making an offer to someone and seeing their life change, like
Yeah.
literally right before your eyes, is the most fulfilling thing that you can possibly do. So I've made offers to new grads, and I've made offers to people who, like, single moms and single
Yeah.
dads and people struggling trying to find a job in all sectors of the industries that I worked in across the board. And so to watch people, like, literally you can see it. You can see the excitement, you can see the thank God, you can see the oh my goodness, praise the Lord, finally. Like, you can see all of that written all over their face. So that would be the most favorite part for me.
Okay. Now, what is the process and the nature of your job? So, like, you wake up and you say, "All right, I'm gonna recruit Brandy," right? How do you get there? So, do people reach out to you, or are you more like a headhunter for the corporations? Like, what exactly does that consist of?
It's funny because my husband and I think we agree that I am an in-house recruiter who has the headhunter's mindset.
Yeah.
I think I've learned that about myself. So, and what I mean by that is like headhunters, they're working they're working when it's convenient. So like because they need their candidate to accept this offer because they get a commission.
Mhm.
When in-house recruiters, we can literally be 9 to 5 and be done and not think about it the next day. For
Mhm.
me, I approach my job as if I was a candidate for me, I was a candidate for 4 years. So I understand what it feels like to be a candidate.
Yeah.
So if I was a candidate and I know that my recruiter has an offer waiting for me at 8 o'clock. In my mind, why would I make my candidate wait the next morning when I'm not doing anything? Like literally, is not taking it out of my life in any way. I'm not doing anything. I can just call this person and make them an offer,
And let them
and so
know
that they
right
don't
away.
have to agonize all
Mhm.
night to wonder if they're going to get an offer. Like I don't understand it. Yeah, whatever. So that's so in my mind, that's how I think. I think in a way where how would I want to be told? When would I want to be told? So I've made offers on Sundays and Saturdays and
Yeah.
all kind of days and hours of the night. But my day to day is I wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then
Those are
I
essential. That
all
is
the
the
essential
sit
things,
before you do
all the essential
anything,
things.
y'all, please.
Please do all those things when you wake up in the morning. But then when I log onto my computer, the first thing I do is I check my email,
Mhm.
respond to all of my candidates who sent me like interest or anything like that of jobs that they've applied to, and then from there, I figure out like what my admin tasks are. So recruiters have a lot of admin tasks, whether it's cleaning up their recs or it's making sure you follow up with your hiring managers, or it's making sure you're taking your trainings and staying compliant. Because we're HR professionals, compliance is really important. So we always
Right.
have to stay up with the law and compliance and all of that. So it's making sure all of your trainings are up to date. You're checking your emails. And so I spend a lot of my time on LinkedIn. I spend
Mhm.
a lot of my time like literally checking my DMs all the time to make sure that if there is someone who wants to come into the company and they have the skill set that I'm looking for or one of my teammates is looking for, then I'll set meetings with them and I'll screen them, and then I'll either pass them off or keep them to myself as a candidate to see if I can find them a role. So most of the day is filled with, if it's meetings, if it's one-on-ones, if it's moving candidates around in our rec so that hiring managers can see the view and checking for minimum qualifications and the applications and all of that.
Okay. Now, what do you think is one of the necessary things that people need before we can even get in front of you as a potential applicant? What are some key things that you see that people are missing that will make you turn away? I know it's a mess, ain't it? You seen the
So,
girl with the flip flops or the
oh
slides?
my Lord,
Mhm.
have mercy. So I take a deep breath and I close my eyes because every time I get a question like this, I have to say to myself, Shanae, someone is listening to you that don't really know you. So you have to say this tactfully. So I've
Mhm.
always wondered, like, how you gonna say this time? So here we go. I would say, in order to be a viable candidate for anything,
Mhm.
right? Any company, any industry, any position, you need to actually know what you want to do. That's like the most foundational thing that I think people miss, the very simple things of what do you actually want to do and how can I help you get there? Right? That's the first thing, because you would be amazed of how many recruiters get messages that go, "Here's my resume, can you find me a job?" And I'll be like, "No." Right? And
Exactly.
all of a sudden we become the bad people, or oh my gosh, how can you turn me away? Like we are those people. With the greater public, what we don't understand, I don't think I understood it as a candidate either. What
Mhm,
we don't understand is that the recruiter, depending on what type of recruiter they are,
mhm.
is not assigned to you, right? So there is no
Yeah.
obligation to help you if we don't want to. So
Mhm.
there are in-house recruiters, there are agency recruiters slash headhunters. Those agency recruiters are like literally, I need this person to accept an offer so
It's
that
like
I
a
can get
windmill.
my commission. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
In-house recruiters, we get recs. We have to fill those recs with the company. We are obligated to the company, not the candidate.
Yeah.
But we, of course, we want to make sure the candidate experience is great, the hiring manager experience is great. Yeah, like we, of course, right? That is inevitable. That goes without saying. What
Mhm.
I'm saying is some of the messages that we get is almost like obligatory. Like, here's
Mm.
my resume, help me now or die. And there are times where I'm like, did you even try to do
Let me
research?
ask you
Like,
though,
I
is
had,
that like the younger generation? Where are you seeing that
oh, it's
response?
across the board, friend. It's across the
Mhm.
board. Here's why: because seasoned candidates, because they've been in their positions for so long, they don't understand that the way we look for jobs now has shifted.
Mhm.
So seasoned candidates, and I say seasoned because I'm about to age my seasoned people. Seasoned candidates, seasoned candidates. What I mean by that is seasoned candidates could go to the newspaper, circle a job, call the job, put in their application, they
Not
call you the next
circling the
day.
job. Oh my god, I
Then
remember
like that's
that.
like you go to the newspaper, you go to the one ads, you circle a job you want, you that's how
Receptionist,
that was that
$9.
was our the save. Like, this is what I want. You go to the place, you fill out your application, they call you back, maybe even the next day or the same day for an interview. Where now the job market has shifted. There are so many people on the job market
Yeah.
that there is a good chance that you could be an ideal fit for one particular role, but so are thousands of other people.
Mm.
And then now we're in this digital world where now there are different ways where you have to be creative because we're not sitting in front of people anymore.
Yeah.
And so the demographic of age is all type of people all over the
Right.
place. And so some of the messages that we get, it's, can you help me find a job? And I'll say, did you look? Like,
Well,
I'll literally,
your
very
name.
simple, or I'll say something like, "So what research have you done?" Oh, I haven't done any research. That's why I'm asking you.
Uh, you need to
I'm
put the
sorry.
work
What?
in, baby.
Like,
No.
so then it's now offense has entered the building because now I say, if you want my time, you have to pay me for it.
Yeah.
Because now you're making me pull stuff from my expertise, and it's going to take me some time to actually sit down and pour it into you, right?
Yeah.
I had somebody send me a message to say, "Yeah, can you help me do, I think it was today. Can you help me do this? I have no intention in paying you."
What? Let me tell you something, baby. Y'all know I'm about my dollar.
Hmm.
Okay?
I looked at her and was like, and she looked like me. Like, okay. Even if I was gonna do it anyway, I wouldn't do it now.
No, because you just
So
expected me to do it for free.
right. And so there is, so I don't think a lot of us as recruiters, I don't believe that we walk around with this expectation or this chip on our shoulder that I'm a recruiter, you need me, so you have to pay me.
Yeah.
No. Like, we still have policies that we have to follow with our
Mhm.
companies and all of that. We have
Well,
to
you
make sure
are
we're
an
not,
HR professional, which I don't
we are
think a
HR
lot of
professionals.
people realize that this is a role in HR.
Right. And so those are the messages that can be very off-putting,
Yeah.
and if anything, we get so many of those messages that people who are prepared, we're tired by the time we get to those people. So
Yeah.
we have to pick and choose, who are we going to answer, and then what type of energy do we need to give them, because we've already poured in our day jobs all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say I saw a video on TikTok, down to the old TikTok, okay? And this girl was on here and she said, if the company is hiring,
Mhm.
that means the company needs help. Why
Mhm.
do I have to interview for the role? Why do I have to interview for the position? And
Mhm.
I'm like, I simply commented, do you believe that any Joe Schmo can just do any job just because the company needs somebody. There are
Mhm.
some key things that you need to have to make sure that you fit. And
You have to fit.
you have to fit the role, not just in
That's
ability,
right.
but culture. What if you don't fit
That's right.
the culture of the office? What if you don't fit the culture of the company? What if you
And
don't
we
fit
have to
those
break
things?
down what culture means, because
Come on.
when we say culture, people think, oh, you talking about black, white,
No,
woman,
no.
man, boy, girl, you talking about Asian. Like, it's not that. Most of the time it's, are you gelling well with the team? Are
Yeah.
you a team player? Do you have a
Mhm.
growth mindset? Are
Mhm.
you collaborative? Are you adaptable? Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that goes into
Flexible.
culture. Yeah, flexible, right? Are you willing to learn? There's a lot
Mhm.
of things that go with culture that we as black people, if I'm honest, use as an excuse. And it's not always the case. It's not like, I'm like, being on this side, it is not always the case. Dog, it's not because you black.
No.
It's not like, it's
No.
not this
Sometimes
time.
that literally is not the reason.
Right.
Sometimes you just did not do a good job. And that's
Exactly.
okay, because what we
And
need
that
to
is
do is
fine.
learn from this. Not just
Yes.
accuse everybody of being racist, because everybody is not racist.
Correct.
Sometimes you just are not a good fit for the
Right.
role. And it could be for a
That's
lot of
right.
reasons. Unpreparedness. I see
Yep.
that a lot.
Yep.
Late to interviews. Come on
Yep.
now.
Or just don't know how to answer the questions.
Ooh, or the
Right?
phone.
Or the answers, the content that you're spilling,
Mhm.
it's just the tea that you're spilling is not the tea
Mm,
that the question has asked.
mm-mm.
so so
Mm-mm.
it comes with practice, and I don't think people fully understand. You have to humble yourself and ask for help. And that's what mock interviews are for, and that's what
Yes.
career coaches are for, and all of that. And my thing is, like, if you can invest in a concert where the singer will never know who you are,
Mm.
or you can be a part of, or you can get some Jordans
Mhm.
and Jordan will never know who you are,
Mhm.
but you can't invest in a career coach,
Mhm.
then I always question, like, where is your priority?
Yeah.
How is it that you don't expect free from Beyonce?
Okay.
So why do you expect free from people who are actually trying to help you get a job?
Okay. Period. Because the tickets is $517. I paid for them. I know.
So did I. I will
I
admit, yes, I
know.
did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And I'm ready for the next one, but I'm just
And
saying
and I am. And I am.
that I know how expensive they are. And
Absolutely.
if I did not have a job, I would definitely be using that for a career
Absolutely.
coach. Now, let me
Absolutely.
ask you, how important do you think networking is when you are trying to get recruited for a role? If you are maybe struggling with finding a position, how important is recruiting to you?
Yeah, I
Or
think
not recruiting,
networking.
but networking. I apologize.
Yeah, I think networking is really important. I just think that you have to be creative in how you network. So,
Yeah.
what that means is, again, going back to the point about being in this digital age and AI and all of that, we're in this space where the computer is like going into the office. And
Yeah.
so, if you know that, one, you're an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert, whichever one you identify as,
Mm-hmm.
you have to figure out what's going to take you out of your comfort zone. So, if you're an introvert, you may want to challenge yourself and go to some in-person events. Like you and I were talking about, you went to Black
Black
Tech
Tech
Saturdays.
Saturdays. Yeah.
You went to Black Tech Saturday. I'm going to Afrotech
Mm-hmm.
next week. So it's it's being able to take yourself out of your comfort zone to say, I'm gonna meet people in person. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna say. I don't really know yet, but we're gonna figure this out as we go. And I always give people the tip of, don't just start networking when you need a job, because then
Mm.
at that point, like, you become,
The handout person.
yeah, like, or
Mhm.
it's not
Mhm.
organic. Like, it's
Mhm.
very disingenuous. And
It's only
so
when you needed something.
it's only when you need something. So I tell people all the time, don't wait until you need a job. Like, meet people and network with people, because your opportunity could come when you're a passive candidate.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's like a relationship. You're more attractive when you're no longer available.
Come on now.
So in those cases, I do think it's, oh, I have a job, so now I'm going to forget about the greater public. Oh, now I need a job, so now I need help. Why should
Or I need
anybody
a
help me
raise.
now? or I need a raise, right? Why should anybody help you now? Because you forgot about us. So
Mm-hmm.
why should it? So I have that motto. I tell people all the time. I don't understand why people wait until they need a job. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, you need to do it beforehand. So
Absolutely.
networking, even if you don't go to those like large events, networking is not necessarily like Afrotech or Black Tech Saturdays. Sometimes networking is you talking to someone in the elevator, getting to know
Mm-hmm.
them, befriending them, and getting to know them
Sure.
personally, professionally, and then this door opens for you because a role opens up, and they're like, you know what, Shanae's on my mind. You know
Yeah.
who could do this job? Shanae. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you get put in position strictly because not just your resume, because of networking.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
love, thank you. I try to
Mm-hmm.
tell the folk, okay, Shanae,
They
thank you.
give you such a hard time. I
Don't
don't understand.
they, girl, they try to fight everything I say. And then,
That whole teams thing, the teams thing that you
oh
said,
my God.
I was like, normally I won't say, I'm like, absolutely not.
You nor you normally
Oh,
just like you be in the quiet, you just
and
like
I'm
it.
like, I had, by the time you hit the teams thing and people had an issue, I was
Mm-hmm,
like, y'all have an issue with her actually helping you say she's simply saying, if
mm-hmm,
you say something on a work related platform,
mm-hmm.
if it's the software or the hardware, the company can see it.
Yes.
Watch what you say. Like, I was like, what did she say wrong?
Yeah. You that's so
What
like
did she say
you
wrong?
whatever you got to do to tell yourself at night
It's
so
not a
that you can go to
lie.
sleep. It's not a lie, baby. It's the
They
truth.
can see it.
Yes.
If you have access to that particular tool, you have permission in that way, you can see it.
Yes. Yes. Girl,
I was like, oh,
it's so
she
many
gave a
things.
tip.
Baby,
I
that's
was like,
it.
she's giving gold, and y'all got an attitude
And for free.
for the free.
Can you say that with me, Shanae? For
Oh my
free.
god, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe. And we work in teams every day, so
Literally. I have
I
meetings
can't believe.
all day on
Yeah,
Teams. All
yeah,
day.
insane.
Yeah, I know what's going on. If I needed to check something, if there ever came a moment where someone was flagged for whatever they are saying, it can be read, it can be discovered. You can't even delete it. I tried to tell them that too. They got mad at that. They got mad at
I'm in a group chat now, and I said at work, I understand this is a safe place,
that.
but we all remember we still at work.
We
Watch
still
what you
at work.
say.
Mm-hmm.
We understand. Watch what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just trying to let y'all know.
Be
I'm trying to help y'all
mindful.
out.
Keep it cute. You do not
Mm-hmm.
have to say every single thought that call them.
Call
I
them.
would. It done got to the point I wouldn't even text nothing that a true thought. I'm gonna come home and tell my husband
Mm-hmm.
because people are screenshotting. There was a video last week that I did only on TikTok because I couldn't figure out how to stitch that video on Instagram to make it.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be so long. But the girl was crying because somebody shared a private text
Oh
message
yeah, I
with her
saw that.
boss.
Yep, I saw that.
It's like, baby,
Yep.
y'all, please, you just make a mistake after mistake. Y'all doing the same thing over and over again. Stop acting like your coworkers are your friend. They're not your friend.
Yep.
These are acquaintances. You do not know these folk, and if they had to choose between your check and theirs, they're gonna choose theirs every single time.
Yep. Every time.
So, but speaking of checks, ma'am, I want to know what is the highest salary that you have obtained for a candidate?
Oh gosh, you want me to?
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
I want you to go back into that mental Rolodex. You remember that word?
Well, no, right. Let's see if the kids know about the Rolodex.
Come on, Rolodex.
I'm trying to figure out how I can say it, and it's not against confidentiality.
Mm-hmm.
I would say close to 300K.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was it? It wasn't a role for a physician.
No.
Oh my god. Was it
No.
in tech?
That I can't say.
Okay.
But what I can say is throughout my career, I would say close to 300.
Wow. Y'all hear that?
It's
Yeah.
insane.
That is a
There's
lot of money.
throughout my career, I think I've contemplated my decision making and my career path a few
Mm.
times. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
How did I choose
This,
HR? like, what did I do in school? I should have paid attention in biology
okay,
because although I couldn't stand science, y'all making money.
baby. I tell my kids, I'm like, let me tell y'all something. You better take your butt to school for medical,
Oh my
or
gosh,
you better be an engineer or some type of tech. That's where you
something,
need to land yourself a job. Do you hear me?
something,
You
something.
don't you walk in here talking about you want to be an artist.
Now I did have you stupid.
Don't do
I
that because you
did
cannot
have
get paid.
because you're gonna be broke for a minute
You gonna be a
messing with
hungry.
that.
You gonna be mommy's hungry
Be
child.
hungry. I did talk to an executive one
Yeah.
day, and we were at a conference, and he said something to the effect of and this is where I'm trying to get my career. He said something like, I got a call from a recruiter, and they were trying to present some type of position to me, and I asked them the level of the position, and they told me, and I hung up. And I was like,
He hung up on them.
hung up. I was like, you hung up. And so recruiter called back, and he was like, I mean no disrespect, but I'm an executive.
Yeah.
You're trying to offer me a job that's way lower than what I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a waste of my time.
Mm-hmm.
So all respect given, I'd rather just cut the conversation. He hung up again. And
Wow.
so then he was like, because I don't understand, like, why would you try to offer me? I'm already an executive. Why would you try to offer me a job lower than my worth, pretty
Yeah.
much?
Yeah.
And so I was like, dang, but he hung up on us.
Like that's
Dang.
crazy. But
but
that's a
but to
heavy
be
know your
honest,
worth.
right, but I didn't understand it until one of my candidates, they didn't hang up on me,
Yeah.
but they gave me the business in a very nice way.
Mm.
And what they said was, Shanae, with all due respect, first I want to say I respect you, so I'm trying not to say. And I was like, no, I get it. Like, I was like, hands down, I was like, listen, I get it. Like, I understand. And so
Yeah.
as we were having the conversation, they were giving me a little bit more information. I'm like, okay, can we go here? And he went, yes, we can. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. And
Yeah.
I said to him, I was like, we needed to have a little bit more conversation before I could get there. I was getting there, but we need to have a little bit more conversation.
I need you to be a
I
little
need to
patient
know a
with
little bit
me.
more information. But it helped me understand that when you get to a certain level in your career,
Yeah.
there's a certain level of conversation you are not willing to have.
Yeah.
And
Come on.
it has nothing to do with, like, I don't not respect you, because I
Yeah.
do. You're doing your job, but I need you to know that if you're the expertise of what you do,
Mm-hmm.
you should know that this is not going to work for me,
Yeah.
because you should know that at my level, this is not even a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, dang, like, you
And if
just
you
taught me a
really
whole level
consider
of
them
business.
as an applicant, you
Absolutely.
know how good they are. So
Absolutely.
that's even more of a slap in the face. It's like
Absolutely.
you called me and asked
Absolutely.
me for this or offering
Yep.
me this. And so you need to come correct.
Yep.
So I appreciate you sharing that story. So y'all need to know your worth is what Shanae is
Know
saying.
your word. And
Okay.
add taxes plus shipping and handling.
Okay, baby, because you better
Please.
add a couple grand
Okay.
on top of some of these salaries. And I want to get into some of the Patreon conversations. Okay.
Hmm.
One question from Tamika.
Okay, wait. With the salary, I can say, because I did post this on my Instagram.
Yes.
Throughout my career, I can say that someone's salary expectation
Yeah.
was in the 700s. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
The salary? Was it, what were
The
they
entire
doing?
thing, the entire package.
Okay. What
So
is the
the
job?
expectation of the expectation of the entire package. It was in management.
Okay.
So it was in management, but I had never heard someone ask for, like, that kind of money before. And
What,
no,
babe?
no,
What?
mm-mm. And so I was like I was dumbfounded, but in a very, like, intrigued way.
Yeah.
And so he was very nice about it. He said, Shanae, I'm just be real with you. I'm in a good job right now. I technically don't need to leave my job. So if you want to sell me this role, I need about a 15% increase. What can you say to that? Like,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
So I was like, I need to have that kind of confidence to ask
Yeah.
for $800,000
And don't even blink.
and don't even blink. And he did not blunk
He
at
did not
all.
blunk. Blunk, he did
He
not.
did not blunk.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much. You have just been wonderful. We're gonna have to do a topic. This is introductory to kind of get them in to listen, to hear from you, because I watch your videos and I see you in your boo. And I just
He's a
love
mess.
your account. And so you were one of the first people I was like, I got to talk to her, because this is just a natural avenue for you. And being able to have this access, y'all, do y'all hear this? Okay, y'all don't get to hear this all the time, so
Yes.
you need to be paying attention. Now I'm going to ask the recruiter cousin about LinkedIn. This is a very,
Mhm.
very popular question on Patreon. In the DMs, I got several questions about LinkedIn. Okay, but I'm
Mhm.
going with Tamika's because everybody's question was very much the same.
Mhm.
So here we go. Is LinkedIn a good resource for finding a new career?
It is a good resource, but it's not the only resource. That's what I would
Mm-hmm.
say. I think your LinkedIn has changed over time. LinkedIn is now becoming more social media heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say anything is what you make it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking for social media, that's what you're going to get. If you're looking for messy, you gonna get messy. If
Yeah.
you looking for a good time, you're gonna get a good time. But if you're looking for a job, you'll be able to come across people who can help you. My current role, if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see where I work. My current role is because of LinkedIn. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know that the company was looking for recruiters, and I was in a secure job, and I probably would have still been in that job today. And so I just got a notification from LinkedIn saying that the
Mm-hmm.
company was looking for recruiters,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally hit easy apply, which took me to the company's website, and I updated my resume and my cover letter. I hit submit. I said, "Here, Jesus, here you go," and then I went to
Okay.
sleep. And so the next day, the recruiter reached out to me. Within 4 days, I had a screening, and then within
Wow.
2 weeks, I had an interview. Within a month and a half, I started. So um, I would say that LinkedIn helps. LinkedIn just you have to catch it at the right time. You have to
Yeah.
network with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
You find out a lot of networking events that are happening on LinkedIn, both virtual and in person.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn is a wealth of information. You get trainings and
Yes.
certifications on
And they
LinkedIn.
have
It
trainings that connect to your Teams account through
yeah.
LinkedIn with the subscription.
Yep.
I try to tell people about that. That is such a good resource.
And LinkedIn gives you the 30-day premium for free.
Mm-hmm.
Before you have to pay for the subscription. So I do think it's important that people use LinkedIn for the like networking purposes, putting yourself out there
Yeah.
and all of that, but it's not the only place where you can find a job.
So what is if you had to list one place that you think is an ideal platform for applicants, what would that be?
That's hard because you don't want to in this market, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So because there are thousands of people who are on the in the market now, you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to just stay on LinkedIn or stay on Dice or stay on USA Jobs and all of that. Like you want to be able to go back and forth between, let's say, Snap Hunt, and let's say Remote OK, and let's say
Yeah.
all of the I think Snap Hunt. I feel like it is. If Snap Hunt is something
It's
different,
somewhere up
sorry.
in there. I know what you're
But
talking about
it's
though.
somewhere up in there.
Yes.
But if there is a now I'm gonna have to look it up when I'm done, because I'm like, I think I misspoke. Listen, I'm also very sleepy. It is
Okay.
8:50 my time. So y'all bear with me. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But so Remote OK, LinkedIn, Dice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how successful Indeed is now, I know people who have been successful in the past, but I personally have never been successful with Indeed. I
My
do
my
know
opinion
that
on Indeed is that it's good for entry level. That's
I can
about
see
it.
that.
If you're
I
trying to
can see
go
that.
into like upper management or senior management roles, I would not recommend LinkedIn or not LinkedIn, but Indeed.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, I do know people who, like myself, if I'm a part of a few groups on Facebook, and sometimes,
Mhm.
especially in the past when I was in healthcare, I would post like links to jobs on my some of the Facebook groups, and I know people who are hiring managers on Facebook who will post their jobs too. So I do think that, like I said before, if you go to social media for an intended purpose, you'll find what you're looking for,
Yeah.
but you have to have the intent to understand, and then to the direction to understand what you're looking for. You'll find it.
Okay. Well, that is a wonderful answer. Thank you very much.
You're
All
welcome.
right. So this one is this one is kind of crazy because I have talked about this on the podcast before. Why is everywhere hiring? But when I fill out an application, I can't even get a call back, let alone an interview. I have a great job history, as does my husband and friends. This isn't just me, it's my friends, even my husband who has a PhD. I need your help.
So let me start with the PhD. PhD, MD, JD,
Mm-hmm.
all of them are terminal degrees.
Mm,
Those are some of the hardest jobs
to land.
to get
Mm-hmm.
when you have advanced degrees like that.
Yeah.
JD, 4 year job seeker. So I get it, right?
Yeah.
It's I my law degree was like the death of me for a long time, because I got, like, a pastor even turned me down to be his secretary because he felt like I was gonna tell him what to do. And I'm like, dog, I just want to pay a bill or two.
Is
Like,
that the overqualified thing?
oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
So I would say the PhD, MD, JD, those are intimidating to people.
Yeah.
Where they'll look at, it's interesting because people look at your credential or your title and go, "Oh, you were this before. Why would you want to be this?"
Yeah.
And I've had to tell even my hiring managers now, I've had to say, "Well, people need a job, right? They
Mhm.
don't care if they're overqualified at this point. They need some income coming in order to survive."
Mhm.
And so I hold my hiring managers accountable for that, because it's like, it's not that they don't know that they're overqualified. They need a job. And
Mhm.
the
And they
people who
need
need
a
a
job
job,
until they can get the
they need
job.
a job. Right. And so for people who need a job, they're gonna work their butts off because they need this job, and they
Exactly.
need to keep it for a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
So um what I would say is, for people who have those advanced degrees, it is difficult because people who have been managers and directors and VPs and SVPs and senior leadership, those leadership positions are some of the hardest positions to get.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just the nature of the job market. Now, when we're talking about, my job history is great, I'm qualified, so are millions of other people in the world.
Mhm.
Everybody's saying the same thing you saying, everybody feels the same way.
Mhm.
So it's not to invalidate how you feel or what your experience is. The fact is, there are so many people in the job market that it is now an employer's market,
Yeah.
right? So there are less opportunities and more people on the market. And so the same way you feel,
Right.
the people alongside you feel the same exact way. And so it's frustrating because y'all are literally competing with the numbers.
Yeah.
It's the numbers, right? It's not about, a lot of times it's not even about your qualifications. It's just, there's one position that I need to fill and
Mhm.
5,000 people have applied to it.
Oh my
So
goodness.
4,900 other people are going to feel the same exact way you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And not, just like you said, those roles are very limited. Most
Hmm.
people do not leave those positions unless you already have another role lined up. So
Hmm.
I see that could be like a very small pool of jobs. And then you have this large number of applicants trying to secure these roles. This is why relocating is not bad. Sometimes you need to move, guys.
And that's
Okay?
another thing. What
Don't
I
be
think
scared to do it.
what um I'm just gonna use my last name. What irks me sometimes is when people say I don't want to relocate. Now I say this with the understanding that there are times where you can't relocate.
Right.
If you have somebody in school, if you're a
Mhm.
caretaker, if you have a disability, there are a few things that
Can keep you
will
from
prevent you
that.
from being able to relocate. So that I understand.
Mhm.
You have then the other classes of people who just don't want to relocate because they don't want to live in a certain city. And in my mind, it's okay. Are we ready to have a real conversation, or you want me to talk on the surface? Because
Yeah.
the real conversation is, dog, you need a job.
Okay.
You don't have no leg to stand on. So
Mm-mm.
if they tell you to move, get up, go.
Okay. It's time to go to Dayton, Ohio.
Like when I have, like when I have kids, I wish my son would come. Mom, they want me to relocate. Okay, get out.
Bye.
You ain't got no job. You ain't paying no bills. Go. Bye.
Mhm.
See when you get
Mhm.
back. Like
Yeah.
it's a I don't understand. I don't understand the, and this is not everyone. This A lot of candidates have a level of entitlement
Mm.
that that causes them to go, I would prefer to work fully remote. Why?
Mm.
Why?
'Cause that is
Why
a
is that?
privilege.
Because that's a privilege. So
Yeah.
why is that? Why do you want to work fully remote?
Mhm.
Because I would prefer to work fully remote. Is So my thing is, are you a caretaker? Do you
Mm.
have a disability? Is there something that is preventing you from coming into
The
the
office.
office? Like right now, I have a candidate who has like an autoimmune
Mhm.
disease, and so they have to be at home.
Yeah.
They can't be around a certain amount of people, or they're going to get sick very easily.
Mhm.
That In that situation, of course,
Right.
be at
Right.
home. But it's a the privilege, or the entitlement rather, is at an all-time high. And
My
so
thing with
there's
remote work is that you have to be very disciplined, guys.
you have to be disciplined,
You have to be
because I'm gonna watch
disciplined
my shows and work at the same time.
and fight the
Absolutely.
urge to want to rewatch Scandal for the 300th time. You have to be
Absolutely.
very disciplined when you work from
Absolutely.
home. Like when I work from home, I try to do it when there are no children at home because I am distracted.
And I have to work upstairs because I have two dogs downstairs
That's
that's
what I'm
not
saying.
gonna let me work.
It's gonna be loud everywhere. It's gonna be people talking everywhere. It's just not ideal. So you have to be very disciplined when you work from home so that you
Yep.
do not mess up and lose productivity points. If you are scored like that, if your company tracks how often you are moving that mouse, because that's a real thing, guys. They can
Mm-hmm.
do that on that
They
team.
can.
They know how often you're moving this thing. Okay, they
Mm-hmm.
know. So if
Because your teams will go yellow and not green or red.
come on, come on, come on. That's how they know you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing something. There's something happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to account for that time and then it just kind of snowballs into a PIP. And we don't want to deal with
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay?
Yep.
Now for
Yep.
our last question, it says, I would like to ask, oh, this one is from Kalia. I want to give a shout out to Kalia. She's
Hey
a very
girl.
awesome follower and also in the Patreon. She is so active and I thought this was a really good question. She says, I would like to ask, why are employers posting roles, doing multiple interviews, and either number one, ghost you, or they offer you a ridiculously low salary?
Mm. um So first, that is wrong. Let me start there. That is wrong. No way am I ever, being an HR professional, no way am I ever going to say that that is a good candidate experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and I will go on. I will even go as far as saying I don't even think that that's compliant.
Mm,
Um, like let's keep it a buck. I don't think that's compliant, depending on how they're doing it. What I will say though is I can't answer the question as to like why they're ghosting you. What I can say is if they did, you don't want to work there. That is a
mhm.
pure indication that you don't want to work there. All of the interviews that you did, and then you don't get an answer for some reason, that means you don't want to work there. Now then the question is, did you get an answer but you didn't see it?
Oh.
Because that's another thing that I deal with as a recruiter, where if I'm dispositioning somebody and they're no longer, like, their application is no longer active because I've taken them out, I get candidates all the time say, "Hey, Shanae, I'm just checking on an update for the role," and I'll go, "Did you get the email? Because I did send it." And
Mm-hmm.
so there are times when people don't pay attention to their emails.
Or go
So I
straight
would
into
say
spam.
yeah, or
Mm-hmm.
so I'll say being on this side, did you see it? Because they could have very well dispositioned you, you probably just didn't see it.
Right.
Now, then the question is, if I made it to the final round, why didn't I just get the courtesy of a phone call or a
Yeah.
personal email to say, "Hey, I know you made it to the final round. Unfortunately, we're going to move forward with other candidates. You were great, but this is what they were looking for and this is what these other candidates had." Like, so I understand that question too. My answer to that is, this is going to sound like really rude, but bear with me. Um, the way a certain person runs their process is not going to be the same for all companies across the
Yeah.
board, right?
Yeah.
The way a recruiter runs how they do it is not going to be the same for recruiter B from recruiter A.
Right.
What I will say though is there are times when we're moving so fast that we do forget to slow down and contact Brandy if she
Yeah.
didn't get the job. Um, it could have slipped our minds. We could have meant to put it on the calendar and then we got pushed and moved into something else. Like there are so many things and so many moving parts that happens internally, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you work for big companies that you have to
Mm-hmm.
keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
And so something at some point is going to fall by the wayside. I don't think, I won't say people do it on purpose. I would just say it happens. Then on top of that, you then figure out as a recruiter, it's much easier to make someone an offer than it is to reject them.
Yeah.
And no one wants to sit in front of a candidate and say, "Brandy, we're not choosing you for the role and here's why." And then have to look at you and take that in of you not
Mm-hmm.
actually getting the job.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
And you have to
recruiters
do
don't
that
really,
100 times.
and a lot of recruiters don't want to face that. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I agree. I agree with that. When I have to turn down people for a role or turn down a doctor for a role, I would just send that email. We decided to go in a different direction. Thank you. I don't want to
Hmm.
call you. I don't want to send out a text and then there's
Hmm.
like a texting dialogue. I'm just gonna send you this email.
But you also don't have time for it
No.
because you have to move on with your work.
Yes, I have 7
So
offices. I don't have time to be
you
sitting
don't have
there
time.
with the text messaging back and forth to explain to you why you did not meet the role requirements, or then also talk to you about why maybe your availability just wasn't it. You just did not meet the qualifications for the role. We're not moving
Yeah,
forward. We're moving in a different direction. I
that's
wish you
right.
the best of luck in your job hunt. And that's it. I have to leave it at that because otherwise I'll go crazy if I had to talk to every doctor, every hygienist, every receptionist, all those people constantly telling them why they did not meet the qualifications. So
That's right.
sometimes if they're real bad, I won't say nothing. If it's real bad, like if it's somebody, and that doesn't happen very
Because as
often.
HR professionals, you also have to watch what you say.
Hmm.
Because once we put that in writing or we even say it out of our mouths, then all of a sudden it's discrimination.
Oh
Like
yeah.
y'all have no idea
Hmm.
some of the stuff we have to watch
Hmm.
because it can be the smallest thing that can be
Hmm.
misconstrued as
Hmm.
discrimination. And
Hmm.
nobody has time to sit in court.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly it. You just have to be very careful about what you say. And that's
Mm-hmm.
someone in HR, y'all. Y'all hear Miss Shanae? Be careful
Mm-hmm.
of what you are
Be
saying at
careful
them
of
people
what you
job
say.
because they sitting
Be
there
careful. Because they
documenting
can see it.
like
Because they can see it.
Joycelyn.
That poor child. Lord. Because they can
Oh,
see it. Whether y'all like it or not, they can see it.
they can see it. They know everything
Hmm.
y'all talking about, everything you're doing. But that's
Hmm.
it, girl. I don't have any more questions for you. You have just been amazing. I want to say thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for,
Of
I don't even
course.
know how we got connected. I can't even
I
remember.
reached out to you.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. I
there we
reached out
go.
to you and I was like, I ain't gonna say what I said because we recording. But you know what I said.
I do remember
I'm the
what you
one who
said.
reached out to you. I'm girl because
Because I
Yeah, it was me.
know that you say
It was me.
oh my god.
I'll take the ownership. That's how we got connected, guys. Recruiter cousin reached out to Brandy, the millennial manager, and was like, "Ugh, I
You
need
are
help."
right, girl. I don't know why these people are listening, but I will say
You are
I
right.
am so thankful that you took the time out of your day to come and talk to this wonderful audience so that they can hear from you as a recruiter some of the things that you're looking for when you're looking for applicants, also how to navigate in those spaces, and then how to be a better applicant, how to put yourself in those
Yeah.
spaces and even say no.
Yeah.
Be an
And
advocate for yourself.
I do want to encourage people to get to a point where you're actually turning down jobs yourself.
Mm,
Right? Like one of my mentors, she said, "Shanae, sometimes I apply to jobs and I go on interviews just to see if I'm gonna get it."
yeah.
And now as a recruiter, I'm about to contradict myself because please don't do that to us because it is the
Y'all do
most
so much
stressful
work.
thing. It is the most stressful thing when we do all that work and we got to meet our metric and you tell us no and now we got to figure it out. Lord, it's stressful. But she did tell me. She said sometimes I do it just to see if if I still got it, and just to see if I can get the job because it's a confidence booster. And
Yeah.
so now don't get me wrong, there are many positions that people intend to actually take that job if they get it.
Mhm.
But then there are people who don't need to leave their job and they'll just kind of test the water to see if it's something that they would want to do.
Yeah.
And I would just say y'all get to a point where you're interviewing so well that you can turn down jobs because that's when you begin to get your mojo going. That's when you begin to get your confidence and you can start demanding certain levels of the type of money you want to make.
I love that. Thank you. Y'all hear that? Okay. Get to this level so that you can demand some money. Because we got bills
Yes.
to pay. All right. And
We got
families. We
bills
got bills and families and cars.
and children and cars and pets.
Yes. All the things.
Pets are expensive.
Girl. That's why I baby no, I just got the 3 kids. I can't get no dogs. The most that
But
they gonna
the
get out of me
four-legged
is a fish.
the four-legged children are children.
Oh
They just don't talk.
oh yeah.
They bark, but they're kids.
Mhm. Mhm. Do y'all have to
Oh my
have dog
goodness.
insurance?
We had it, but it didn't make sense because the dog insurance was more of like for emergencies and we didn't have
Oh,
an emergency until we canceled it and then we
and
had
then y'all
one.
had an emergency.
But we have a black lab who gets into everything, and then we have a Connie Corso. So the Connie
Oh,
Corso is like the big, like he
yeah.
towers over me now, but he's the sweetest thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to thank you again for coming on to the podcast. And
Yeah, thank you for
please
having me.
tell us where we can find you if you have any services. Do you offer interview coaching services?
I do, I do. For those of you who think it is through the company I work for, it is not. I do it on my own personal time, on my own
Period.
personal devices. Let me make that very clear, okay?
Period.
So, so, cause child, you'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to my Instagram, it's Recruiter Cousin. You go to my YouTube, is Recruiter Cousin. My TikTok is Recruiter Cousin. If you go on LinkedIn, it's Shanae Urquhart, Chenae. Last name is Urquhart, Erkerd. But if you type in hashtag Recruiter Cousin, I'll also come up too. And then I think that's it. And then so I also have coaching sessions. So if you go to my LinkedIn and you go to my bio, I have a direct me page where you can go and find my job seeker templates and my coaching sessions. And I try to give as much information and resources as I can in a short amount of time.
That's awesome. Well, y'all make sure that you check out the Recruiter Cousin and book those interview sessions because we need some help, okay, guys? Because Brandy does
Yes,
not offer
yes.
that. I just teach you how to keep your job. All right? How to
Because
not
we
want.
don't want you to lose your
I don't
job.
want you to lose your job. Hey, because you need to keep your job, baby. It's the holidays, okay?
It is
Nobody's
the
trying
holiday
to
season.
be hungry around the holidays. So
I
y'all
know
make
that's
sure that
right.
you check in with the Recruiter Cousin, and that is going to be it for today on this episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I'm your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and this is
Shanae Urquhart, aka Recruiter Cousin.
okay. And we will see y'all on the internet. Bye, girl.
Bye, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.